Welcome to the weekly roundup for Gaikoku Go. We had a little issue there with the software, so I'm going to make this a much faster wrap up than usual. Today, first let's go ahead and see what we're working with here. Hopefully this the software will do what it's supposed to do. So anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to go into the training for today's particular episode. So this is our website, Gaikoku Go. Please go there for any hints and more tips and advice for you that you can see here at gaikokugogo.com. That's the website. Now let me go over today's particular agenda. Number one, emphasize well for the fifth grade. What well means. We're going to do that. Number two, gestures for presentation or the speech test. Who's this for fifth grade. Number three, when play is not used and do is used in the fifth grade for your students. Okay. So first I want to start with well. So number one, I want to inform you, please remember well is very important. So when we say they can do or they can cook, they can sing, they can dance. That's not the meaning and the goal for this unit. The goal, one of the goals is well. What can they do well, which is very, very good, very good. Okay, so let's look at examples of that real quick. So for your students, you don't want to have a sentence that says, this is my father. Oh, here's a good example. She can cook. Okay. So we don't want this sentence, she can cook. We want to make sure our students are saying she can cook well. Okay, and what I mean by that is, my meaning is that even when they are doing their speech, okay, when your students are doing their speech, they also need to understand that this part, well, is very important. I noticed every time there are a lot of students in the fifth grade that just say, this is my father. He is a baker. He can bake. Okay? And that's not good enough. We want to make sure that they're using the vocabulary, the target words, and the target for this as well. Okay? So that's the first part. So we want to make sure that they're using the well. We're using well when they are using or making and writing their sentences. Here's another example for you. He can, and I see this all the time. This happens a lot. So I want to teach you teachers about this. Okay? He can volleyball. He can volleyball. Okay? So believe it or not, your students will say, he can volleyball, even if they write it. But let's check to make sure they write it correct. So let's go back into that. This should say, he can play volleyball well. He can play volleyball well. Okay? So that's our goal for this particular, that's what our goal is for this unit, for Unit 4. We want to make sure your students know well, which means jozu, right? Jozu or jozu. So you want to make sure students understand it's not just dekiru, do, but do well. Okay? Let's look at, let's go back to our schedule. Okay, number 2, gestures for presentation or speech test. Who's this? This is for go nense. We are going to talk about proper gestures. When your students are giving their speech test or presentation, this unit, you need to make sure they're using the presentation speech correct, or the speech test. So if your student is saying, this is my father. He is a police officer. He can cook well. That is not correct because we don't see the person they're talking about. So here is the way your students should be doing this. Make sure everything's good here. Sorry about that. Okay, just double checking. This is my father. He is a police officer. He can cook well. Notice when I say he, I'm pointing at the picture. It's upside down. Sorry. I'm pointing at the picture. This is my father. He is a police officer. He can cook well. Okay? Sorry for being upside down, but it's important that you're pointing this. He can, he is, this. Okay? So just to make sure your students are doing that they're saying this is, okay? Not this is, because we can't see who they are. So that's very important. Tip, a hint for you this week. Please check that with your students before you move on to Unit 5. Okay. Let's go to our next portion of today's weekly wrap-up. The next part of today's weekly wrap-up, we're going to look at when play is not used and when do is used. Okay, so that's what we're going to look at. Students make mistakes, and it's kind of it's a little bit different in English, but it's a small difference, but it's really important. So please make sure your students understand. Play is only for certain words. The verb play is for certain words. Play and do is for others. So let me show you what I mean. Okay? So here, okay, let's move on. This is a sentence. Now we've already went through that. Okay. She can play soccer well. She can play volleyball well. She can play judo well. Okay, the problem with this is that you can't use sentence 3. So sentence 3 is wrong. In English, we cannot use play with judo. Okay? We use play with ball sports. Okay? Ball sports like baseball, basketball, and so on. We use play. Let me show you an example of some play. Play words, okay? So the verb play can be used with words like baseball. Play baseball. He can play baseball well. Volleyball. Play volleyball. He can play volleyball well. Basketball. Play basketball. He can play basketball. Dodgeball. Play dodgeball. He can play dodgeball well. Soccer. Play soccer. He can play soccer well. So as you can see, when you look at these sports, soccer, volleyball, baseball, basketball, you can see they are ball sports. Even rugby, play rugby. Tennis, play tennis. Okay? So these are ball sports. Okay? Now let's look at the do sports. Remember, do are combat sports or martial arts or combat. They're not ball sports. So you cannot use play with these combat related sports. So let's look at our play verb, our do verb sports. Okay? Our do verb sports are sports like or judo, karate, kendo. Here's the examples. She can do judo well. He can do karate well. He can do kendo well. So these are the main do verbs that are used in this section for this unit. Okay, so please make sure you know about those. Okay, so thanks for joining me today. Remember, down in the description, you will be able to download a template, a free template for your ICT 6th grade Rokunense speech presentation. There's a free download that you can go there. It gives you a slide presentation of what that should say, and that way you can just show your students quickly this is what their presentation should look like, and they can copy it from you. Also, down in the description, download our 5 mistakes Japanese teachers make or that are made in Gaikokugo English lessons from all the schools I've been teaching. I've taught over 1,800 students. I've taught over 2,500 hours of teaching. And here, through that experience of just teaching just English in Japan, and I noticed a lot. So I want to share that with you so you can stop those mistakes and fix them today. Okay? So download that too below. And when you do download that, you will become part of our mailing list where I will send you updates, help, let you know when we have new videos and other things that can help you in your class. Okay? Now let me go back to our one more thing here I want to show you is you can also go to our main website here at gaikokugo.com, and at this website you can get more information on how you can become part of our community and join and become a member so that you can get more information and help and access. You get weekly training from me, more in detail than this wrap up. You get to ask me questions on specific things in your class. You also get access to my complete library of ICT quizzes for your students to make sure you have a fun and awesome class that quizzes them, and it makes it a fun learning environment for English. Also, you get my small talk demonstrations, templates, and you also script templates, and you also get my training on ICT and much, much more. Okay, you get so much more. It's well worth the price of the basic membership to join us. Okay, the basic membership is a monthly membership of Nissan. Nissan 400 yen. Yeah, Nissan 400 yen. So that's the basic membership, and the best all-inclusive membership is 3,000 yen. Okay, 3,000 yen. Okay, so anyway, don't want to talk about that too much. What I really want you to do though is I want you to let you know that right now the membership is open, and I will be closing the membership soon. So it's open now, but I will be closing that soon, where that only a certain number of members I'm going to allow to join every month. With that being said, download the free stuff. And if you don't understand this, again, like I said in the intro, go down below and you can click on the English version after this video has been posted to YouTube. So with that being said, thanks for joining me. Peace and love. Have a great weekend and a great week. Every week, remember, at 7:30, we have this show, Weekly Wrap-Up, 7:30 every week. Join me next week. Tell your friends. Let them know on SM social media. See you next time.